On the 6th of April 2022, emergency services were called to a raging house fire in the town of Day, Wisconsin. The fire was extinguished and the property searched. 2 bodies were found inside, those of 44-year-old Tanya Rodriguez and 52-year-old James Carolfi. But the couple had not died in the fire, nor, police found, had they been murdered or the victim of a crime at all. They had been electrocuted by a device in their garage, a device which then started the fire that destroyed their home, a device which they themselves had made following instructions found online. They had died while attempting a craft known as fractal wood burning. Wood burning is a popular crafting activity. It generally involves using various tools and techniques to burn patterns, images, or lettering into pieces of wood. When used to create artistic or intricate designs, it is often referred to as pyrography. Many people who engage in wood burning and pyrography find the practice extremely fulfilling. They can create very impressive artworks and may enjoy sharing pictures or videos of their work on social media, or selling the end results via craft fairs or online marketplaces. Some crafters use tools that burn wood using heat, while others rely on chemicals which can be carefully distributed over the surface of the wood to achieve a particular effect. It is also possible to use lasers to burn designs into wood. Each of these methods of wood burning have risks associated with them, but in most cases these risks can be mitigated. The possibility of serious injury is relatively low, and the possibility of death extremely remote. Fractal wood burning, however, is very different. The process for fractal wood burning involves soaking a piece of wood in conductive liquid and then applying electrical current via 2 electrodes. The current passes through the dampened wood, causing it to heat up and burn. The burned parts of the wood are more conductive than the unburned parts, and so the burning will spread in an appealing, lightning-like branching pattern. The shapes created by fractal wood burning are referred to as Lichtenberg patterns or Lichtenberg figures, after German physicist Georg Christoph Lichtenberg, who first observed the branching patterns that electrical discharges make in 1777. These patterns can often be seen wherever there has been a powerful electrical discharge, including sometimes in the markings left on the victims of lightning strikes. In the case of fractal wood burning, it is these beautiful patterns that make the technique and the finished items produced by it so appealing. But using electricity to make those patterns can be extremely dangerous. This is particularly so as in most cases fractal wood burners build their own kit by salvaging electrical components from ordinary household appliances. The transformer from a microwave oven is one of the most often used components. Transformers are used to increase, step up, or decrease, step down, voltage. The transformers found inside microwave ovens when plugged into the mains are capable of producing voltages equivalent to those used by electric chairs, and currents that are tens or hundreds of times greater than what might generally be considered lethal. Because of the danger posed by working with such high voltages and powerful currents, fractal wood burners generally take precautions such as wearing thick gloves, using insulating mats, and including a dead man's switch that will cut the circuit the moment it is released. Even with these precautions, however, a single mistake, such as dropping an implement, moving too close to a piece of equipment, using gloves with a tiny hole in them, or forgetting to unplug a piece of equipment, can be fatal. As a result of social media, there has been a steadily increasing interest in fractal wood burning from the early 2000s onwards. During this time, dozens of people have died and sustained serious injuries as a result of attempting this craft. On the 27th of February 2017, 43-year-old Mark Sayer was attempting fractal wood burning in his garden shed in Oxfordshire, England. Mr. Sayer had watched videos online showcasing the technique, and then built a fractal wood burning kit himself using a microwave transformer and a pair of car jump leads. He often used the garden shed as a workshop to experiment with different crafts and practical projects, and had some limited experience working with electricity. At some point, while burning a piece of wood, Mr. Sayer sustained a serious electric shock. He may have accidentally touched an electrode or moved close enough to one for an electrical arc to bridge the gap. The shock either killed him or immediately rendered him unconscious, at which point he fell to the floor, coming into contact with a heater, which set his clothes and subsequently the shed on fire. He was found by his wife, who suffered a mild electric shock while trying to move him to safety. He did not survive. His funeral was attended by more than 100 friends and family. His death, after a short investigation, was ruled as accidental. On the 25th of November 2018, a couple living in Gallup, New Mexico, were working on homemade Christmas gifts. It was a family tradition for them to make gifts together, as a way of saving money and creating meaningful and happy memories. Ryan and Natasha Laber intended to burn several pieces of wood using Fractal wood-burning equipment, then coat them with an epoxy resin and give them as ornaments to friends and family. While using their homemade Fractal burning rig, Mr. Laber's finger slipped and came into contact with a piece of metal. He was electrocuted, dying instantly. He left behind his wife and 3 children. On the 29th of November 2019, Bren Timothy of Salt Lake City in Utah was practicing Fractal wood burning with his son. It was something he had been doing regularly since 2016, and he believed that with his setup and the safety precautions he took, it was not an especially dangerous technique. On this occasion, Mr. Timothy burned several pieces of wood. At one point, his son helped to take a video showing the process in action and the end result. Shortly after this video was taken, Mr. Timothy accidentally made contact with a live electrode and was electrocuted. He later described the moment as he remembered it. The next thing I know, my body's locked up. I have 3,000 volts running through me. I'm falling backward, and that's the last thing I remember. Mr. Timothy's 12-year-old son witnessed the accident and was able to switch off the power and fetch another family member to start CPR. My eyes were rolled back to my head and I wasn't breathing, so they started CPR and got me back. I remember just gasping for air, looking down and seeing the smoke coming off of my gloves that were basically welded to my hands. Mr. Timothy did ultimately survive, although he required multiple surgeries and an extended stay in hospital. On the 2nd of November 2020, 50-year-old Mary Calhoun from Polk County, Tennessee, used a Fractal wood-burning kit she had built herself in her garage by following instructions on the internet. It was a cold day, and Ms. Calhoun had dressed warmly, wearing baggy pajama pants in addition to her other clothes. As she began working, she stumbled on these pajama pants and accidentally switched the machine on while holding the electrodes. The shock caused her body to lock up, preventing her from letting go of the electrodes and breaking the circuit. By the time she fell away from the machine, she had sustained serious injuries, with her hands particularly badly burned. Although a relative was nearby in another part of the property, the shock had made her voice hoarse, and she could not attract attention. She had to retrieve her phone and call her husband, who had stepped out just minutes ago to buy lunch. After being transported by helicopter to a specialist hospital, Ms. Calhoun lost several fingers and lost the use of several more. After multiple skin grafts and surgeries, she regained some limited function in each hand. Although she survived, the electric shock she had endured caused lingering health problems, including some loss of hearing and some loss of sight. Despite all these injuries, Ms. Calhoun remained positive about her situation. After extensive therapy, she found that she was still able to pursue some crafting activities, including jewelry making. She told doctors that she would never experiment with Fractal wood burning again, but would retain, permanently unplugged, the equipment she had built, as a reminder In her own words, to never again do anything stupid. These are just a few of the many accidents that have resulted from fractal wood burning. People injured and killed by accidents include those who had only recently seen the technique on social media and had no idea that it was dangerous, and experienced electricians who had taken extensive precautions but nonetheless at some point made a mistake. Around 33 people in the United States alone are believed to have died from accidents as a result of fractal wood burning. The American Association of Woodturners advises against fractal wood burning and prohibits demonstrations of it or the sale of products made using it at any of their events. The chair of their safety committee offers the advice: there are many ways to express your creativity. Do not use fractal burning. If you have a fractal burner, throw it away. If you are looking into fractal burning, stop right now and move on to something else. This could save your life.